Well, folks, welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Fishing Channel, and I wanted to start off this episode uh, first talking about some of the gear that we're using, because we get a lot of questions about, what size jigs are you using, what's your rods that you're using, the reels, line size, things like that. I'll cover the two most important questions that we get is the jig size and the jig style. Now, it all differs, but majority of the time we're using the huggy jigs, because if we're fishing for hogfish, we like the way the huggy jig sits on the bottom, because it will tilt at an upward angle, and it allows that hogfish, when they feed nose down. So when they do that, it's an easier meal for them to pick off the ground, since they're rooting with their nose into the sand. So the huggy jig is more of a favorite for us. Now everybody differs, but for us, we like using the huggy jig for the hogfish. As you see in this episode, I'm going to be using a lot of the Stewie jig. I use it in the 1/2 ounce and the 1 1/4 ounce, and then we're using 1 1/4 ounce in the huggy jig just to keep it on the bottom. Now this day the tide was ripping pretty good. It was probably moving 2 to 3 knots, so we had to get, at one point we had to use 2 to 3 ounce huggy jigs just to feel the bottom. And so it's important, especially for fishing for hogfish, that you feel the bottom. If you don't feel the bottom and your jig's not on the bottom, a lot of times you're not going to get into the hogfish because of the way they feed. So always kind of remember that if you're targeting hogfish, you want to be on the bottom. You don't want to be jigging your jig up and down. You want to be directly on the bottom. And you're going to have patience. You're going to have to go through a lot of grunts and porgies and things like that to get to the hogfish. Now on this day, we found some warmer water, 65 degrees. The bite was pretty decent first thing in the morning, and then it kind of slacked off a little bit, and then it picked up on the major feeding time. And I talk about the miters and majors in this episode, so be sure to kind of look at that and try to get an understanding, if you don't, about the solunar tables when it comes to major and minor feeding times. When it comes to the gag grouper, the bite has been absolutely stupid. I probably by myself, I had 5 keepers. It was stupid. I didn't show all of them. We lost quite a few fish, so we didn't get a chance to really show everything that we caught. I don't like to do that simply because it just would get boring. We try to be educational. So with the gag situation, as we most all know, they came out just recently with the numbers, and excuse me for a second. They came out with the numbers, and they said that there was over a million pounds of gags caught by recreational anglers in that 15-day span. And there's 5 days that we could not get offshore because of the weather. So I'm telling you, and there's no way the numbers make sense. There's no way that this could be happening in the sense of recreational anglers caught 1 million pounds of gag grouper in that short amount of time. And the survey that they're using to get these numbers, the MRIP survey, MRIP, they've readily admitted that they're 30 to 40% off. That's what they're saying publicly. Now, as we saw with the numbers the year before, I think it's way worse than that. So we're going to have to make sense of it all. We're going to have to try to figure out. Now, they're changing some things up, and they're trying to get better scientific numbers. But the numbers that they're getting now aren't scientific. I haven't seen anything that shows me that there's scientific numbers coming from the recreational aspect of things. Now, the commercial, yes, it's a lot more regulated, so they know when the commercial boats come in, they check the vessels, they know what those boats brought in. So in the head boats also. So that is a little bit more scientific, and I understand that. But when it comes to recreational part, they're closing down seasons when we don't really think that they need to be closing down seasons. But that's just our thought. We're trying to get NOAA back into the office to see if we can do an interview with them and try to get a better understanding of where they're coming from with their numbers. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the fishing part of this episode. We have a lot of fun. It was a rougher day than what they said, but it eventually laid down in the afternoon. So it was a nice day on the water. The water temperature's coming up. I guarantee the rest of this weekend to next weekend, the fishing is going to be really, really good inshore and offshore. All right, let's go ahead and get into the fishing part of this video.
So as you guys are seeing what Chad's doing over there is he's putting a bunch of stinky pinkies.
It's true.
On the, I don't know if you were referring to me or what, but
I think he was throwing shots over the bow.
I think he was. Man, you know how far we are, right, Nick?
I know exactly how far.
But Chad, as you can see, he likes to lay the stinky pinkies on the gunnel right there, and he'll break them apart and he'll flick them in the water. And it's amazing how many fish we catch that spit those pieces of fish or pieces of shrimp up. And so it's, even though we're not technically, we are chumming. We technically are chumming with that. But, you know, as I always talk about, you want to bring as many different types of baits as you possibly can. Today we caught pinfish and some whitebait at the bridge. So that water temperature is starting to warm up. So I think that whitebait will show up pretty heavily here in the next few days. Then we have frozen sardines, we have frozen threadfins, we have frozen shrimp, stinky pinkies.
Tons of stinky
pinkies. We have live shrimp. So we've got a pretty good gamut of frozen and live bait. And so everything seems to kind of be working today. We've caught fish on pretty much everything. I'm using a 1 1/4 ounce huggy jig, just like Chad is using a huggy jig. Gold digger. And
what color you got, Nick?
I had to go up to a 3 ounce huggy.
The purple nurple.
Purple nurple.
And it's not working.
Oh God, here we go.
Color doesn't matter.
Color does not matter.
But the purple nurple's not working.
But anyway,
change the subject.
So I had caught a real nice gag. Chad had caught a nice gag. And we lost a couple other really good gags. We're trying to find some red grouper. Probably not out far enough, but I haven't hit the spots. It got rougher than I wanted it to, and we were gonna go out to about 110, 120, but it just got too rough. And but with these gags, we all know that NOAA just came out with the numbers from this last opening gag season from September 1st through September 15th. And they're claiming that there was over 1 million pounds that were harvested from recreational anglers. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no way. There was 5 days that we couldn't get out. There's 1.7 million licensed fishermen in the state of Florida. That's between fresh and saltwater. So I'm telling you right now that not everybody goes out and goes offshore fishing. And it's not the easiest thing to go out and target gags and get your limited gags, especially if you're a recreational angler. It's not as easy as people think it is. So I'm doing some deep diving into that, trying to figure out some things. I'm trying to still get in touch with NOAA to have an interview with them. We'll see what happens. But anyway, we're going to continue fishing. We might have to move here because Chad shut down the bite. Chad is on again.
It's like another mangrove.
Another mangrove, huh?
Yep.
Dang. But we're out here today, and the gentleman that Chad was talking to, his name is Nick, and he's the gentleman that does the laser engraving for our hats and our beanies and our keychains. And
I wonder if he can laser engrave the fish we catch when we release them. That way they'll have TBFC on the side for future generations.
We brand our fish just like farms brand their cows.
Right? Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be kind of cool.
For us, not for the fish.
No, not for the fish. We're not going to do it, folks.
We're not?
No. But so he does a lot of, so if you guys are looking for somebody that does laser engraving, I'll put Nick's contact information below in the description so you can get in touch with him. He does really good work. And I was actually looking to buy a laser engraving machine, And I kept putting it in my cart, putting it in my cart, putting it in my cart. And I finally said, I don't need something else to do. I don't want to do that. So Nick emailed me one day. He says, hey, can I come pick your brain a little bit? I'm like, sure. So he came in and he was like, hey, I've got this business. And I said, what is it? And he says, laser engraving. I said, holy crap. I said, that's perfect because that's what I've been looking for. And it's worked out really well. So again, if you guys are looking for that, we can get you in touch with Nick.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Get that grunt, Nick.
It's on a white bait, I think. Wasn't it?
Hey, that doesn't matter.
That's true.
They eat white baits.
Was it a white bait?
This is feeling very mangrove-y.
Let's see if he's good enough to call his shots.
Right.
I'm pretty confident it's a mangrove.
Yeah, we'll see if you don't lose it.
That's a mangrove. That's a good one.
Looking to me like a big or a nice gag.
Gag don't usually fight all the way up. That was kind of weird. It made me look bad, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little upset with that.
I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about that. Is if when you're fishing with bait like this and they eat it and they mark it, they will not touch it or they take it. But if they bite it, especially in the bay, for some reason in the bay, if they hit it and they knock a scale off of it, they won't eat it again. Strangest thing. I think I may have already said. Did I say that already?
Like 12 times, but it may not make the cut. Might want to 2 or 3 times. Just so you got one good copy.
There you go.
Easy for you to say. Get it in low gear.
Oh! Jeez, oh Pete. I think my bait's foul hooked again. It's the only problem with hooking it where I've got it hooked above the pectoral fins is that it will foul hook a lot easier, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. I've missed quite a few fish like that today.
Do I need to give you some pointers on how to hook your pinfish?
Jesus Christ.
I guess not.
Ugh. This one I was about to say let's move, but I got a hit and then you got that one. Chad thinks it's a piggy.
Oh, you can count it. There ain't no denying when they do that.
Nope.
Shake.
Chad, get him in the boat.
I'm trying. Your camera was in the way. I hit the stick.
Look at the top of his head.
Yeah, he's got a mark over here too. That's the second time he's been caught then, huh? Round 2.
All right, I turn on the cameras again. Let's see if he can pull through.
5, 4, 3, 2. I can usually jinx Tony that way. He totally falls for it. There's a mangrove. No, a hoggy.
Hogfish. Hey, first one of the day. I am not going to give Nick crap anymore. Listen to you.
It might make it. Might squeak in at the 14.
Looks like a female, so it might squeak in.
It's just starting to change.
See what Nick's got.
I think based on my history, drunk.
Come on, be positive, Nick.
Look at the color of that.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's like orange.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got a big, that's a mutton.
It's a mutton.
Mutton?
Yeah,
Gosh.
he got a mutton.
Who's got your mutton? I've heard they've been catching them out here.
I've heard those little ones taste just as good as the big ones, but
You're on recording.
I know.
What's the size of it?
16, I think.
No.
It's big.
Isn't it 20?
You ain't talking much.
Nope.
Need a net?
Probably. Yep. Cramp.
Got some flim flam over there. How come you're not talking? Chewing bubble gum?
Chewing bubble gum, buddy.
Yeah, one of us doesn't have nearly as big a fish as the other one. But I got a mangrove. About ready for the net?
Yeah.
Well, you got to bring them to me. Can't swim over there.
That one's bigger than the other one.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm telling you.
you think?
Yeah.
I thought the other one looked like it had a bigger head.
I think that's probably the one I caught earlier. I targeted him out. Nice fish.
And the gags are not plentiful enough. Folks, that's my second one like this today. We've hooked numerous others that were just like that.
Broke our hearts.
Broke our hearts. So, as you saw how I fought that fish, it's kind of give and take when you're using such light gear like that. I'm using 20-pound leader, 10-pound braided line, heavy action, red bone rod, but it's a give and take. Even though my drag's pretty tight, if he wants to go, I let him go and then bring him back up. If he wants to go, bring him back up. So it's just a game of finesse. Yes, we lose a lot of fish. We break off fish. Chad's demonstrated that a lot today.
What? I haven't retied nearly as much as you.
I have broke off quite a bit today. But anyway, but I was using 15-pound tests. And I was doing stupid things that I shouldn't have done. I should have not used pinfish on 15-pound tests, but I was trying to get bigger snapper to eat and the grouper come in. But you can get away with using light gear. You're gonna get more bites. Trust me, you're gonna get more bites using lighter gear, and it's more fun. It's frustrating, yes, if you get broken off, but it is a lot more fun to fish with light gear like this. And we prove it all the time. We come back with a bunch of fish. Typically, we've had one time, which was 3 weeks ago, where we did not bring home a keeper fish at all.
No, we had two.
Oh, we had two?
Two lane snappers.
It was horrible. It was miserable. Today is not too bad. Today we're catching fish. Caught a lot of mangrove snapper. Caught a lot of porgies. Red grouper, gag grouper. No hogfish. But we haven't really fished in the hogfish areas that we like to fish. So.
They've almost destroyed that poor bag of pretzels.
That what?
That bag of pretzels. You almost destroyed it.
I was hungry. Chad, just get back to fishing.
I'm trying. One of us got a line in the water. The other one's just yap.
I got to teach the people at home. Because you suck at it.
I don't know. Nick said he's been watching for years.
I haven't.
That's snapperish.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
Hey, Chad will bring it in for me.
He's got a flip-flop, doesn't he? No?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It starts flip-flopping, then it gets heavy. I think it's a small gag. Nope. It would be a mangrove.
Mangrove. That's what Nick had.
No.
You don't think he did?
No.
What did he have?
A heartbreak.
Oh, Lord.
Kind of like them strawberries.
He's a fat one. It's a shame. Absolute shame. I don't have the net available. Come on, man.
Open up his mouth.
Oh my God, I've hooked everything.
Huh?
I've hooked everything. That's a good one, Chad.
Oh, there's a red.
Hey, not a keeper.
Nope. But a hell of a lot closer than the rest of the reds we've caught.
Folks, again, if you don't believe in the major and the minors, this is a prime example right here of what the major is all about. Now, we're primarily using pinfish. I've thought about using something else to see if I can't target the snapper, because there's snapper all down there. I can see them on the screen. But I don't know. It's too much fun catching those gags.
Sometimes the frozen ones don't go on the hook very easy. Uh-oh. He got another problem. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's say, I don't know.
I might have to drop that down that tail.
Why, to scare all the fish away?
Snook season's closed. Did you get another gag, huh?
What would have been a keeper gag? Another one. That would have been 3 for me. On the Stewie. Chad.
Eating chummers, huh?
Yep. He probably would have been a hair short, maybe. Folks, again, right now, we just got into the major feeding time. We've got those 2 gags, hogfish, snapper, lost a couple of fish within the first couple of minutes. So if you guys don't, and I know you hear me say this a lot, but for all you new viewers out there, if you do not follow the solunar periods, which are the major and minor feeding times, you might want to think about doing that, because that's typically, if it's a tough day, those are the times that those fish are really going to eat, especially being late in the afternoon. These fish are showing that they want to eat, unless Chad breaks off and shuts down the bite. No comment?
None.
Well, folks, we made it back to the office, and it was a beautiful ride in. A little chilly. It was a little chilly. But overall, it was a beautiful ride. It laid down about 8 miles out and was flat as glass when we got into the bay, so that was nice. Didn't have to deal with anything that was too rough. It was a decent day compared to the last couple of weeks. It was pretty good. As you see, we caught mangrove snapper, porgies, hogfish, and then we got into the gag grouper and red grouper. We didn't really go to spots that I target red grouper per se, but you know, we're not necessarily ones to target red grouper. Every once in a while we will, but most of the time it's typically mangroves and hogs. But we had a great time on the water. Hopefully you guys learned something, especially about those salooners. When those salooners are happening, that major salooner 220 to 420 was stupid. The gag bite was unbelievable. So always remember that. And if you don't know what the salooners are, those are the minor and major feeding times, which coincides with the minors coincide with the moon rising and setting, and the majors coincide with the moon overhead and underneath the earth. So if you're a hunter, you understand it. If you're not, which I was not, I never followed those until I started guiding, and they became very important. So just remember that. If you're wanting to really put an emphasis on your fishing, that's one of the things you follow. So let's go ahead. Hey, Nick, come here for a second. We'll talk to Nick real quick about his laser engraving business. You got to get in the shot, Nick, so people see. There you go. So, Nick, what's the name of your company?
NH Lasered.
NH Lasered. Okay. So you can, anything pretty much you can laser engrave. That allows it to.
If it can be laser engraved, I
you can do it. Yeah.
I specialize in customized.
Okay. Yeah. And he's done our hats. He's done some keychains. He's done a cutting board for us. He did some coasters, which came out really cool. Keychains. What else have you done so far?
Tumblers.
The tumblers.
Cups.
That's right. The tumblers. Yes. The tumblers, which are awesome. They came out great. So he's a great guy. He's looking to build that business. He's doing it on the side right now. But if you guys are interested, I'll put his contact information down here. And what's a good number to get in touch with you at?
231-794-8265.
231. Where the heck is that from?
I
Michigan.
question if that's even his real number. He tried to send himself a text.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I just want to say thanks to Nick for coming out. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can get you some business. He got a lot of razzing today, but he took it pretty good.
Tony came up with his nickname.
What?
Tony came up with his nickname.
What?
Etch a Sketch.
Etch a Sketch.
Why is it that?
Tony came up with his nickname, Etch a Sketch. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.